The tennis world has just been shaken. Alexandra Eala, the young player from the Philippines, stunned both experts and fans by defeating Viktorija Golubic, a former WTA champion and one of Europe's seasoned veterans, right in the quarterfinals of the Suzhou WTA 125 tournament. Before the match, every statistic was against Eala. Less experience, depleted stamina after 2 marathon matches totaling over 6 hours, and facing a tricky opponent known for her slices and incredibly unpredictable backhand. But instead of crumbling, Eala chose to fight to the end, with tenacity, smart tactics, and the spirit of a true warrior. This victory doesn't just send her to the semifinals. It marks a pivotal moment in her career, as the name Alexandra Eala officially steps into the spotlight as a new icon of belief, resilience, and ambition. The question now is, what truly helped this 20-year-old girl overcome everything to achieve this miracle? To not miss inspiring sports stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Pro Tennis Stories 360 channel, where we bring you the hottest updates, the most unexpected moments, and the journey to the top for the figures who are changing the game. This victory is not just a milestone in Alexandra Eala's career, but also proof that young people, when carrying ambition and a fighting spirit, can completely rewrite the familiar script of matches that seemed decided beforehand. And if she continues to keep the fire, maintain her composure, and keep the heart that never gives up, the semifinals are only a small door on a very long journey ahead. Eala's story does not end here. More brutal matches await. More unpredictable opponents are coming. But if you also felt your heart pounding with every shot she made today, don't miss the next part of this journey. Continue to follow Alexandra Eala in the upcoming battles. And to not miss any developments, you can subscribe to the Pro Tennis Stories 360 channel, where we not only update you with peak sports moments, but also bring you inspiring stories that touch the heart. Many more surprises lie ahead. Are you ready? Pressure-filled start. When the young player faced the master. As the quarterfinal was about to begin, the audience across social media was buzzing with information. Alexandra Eala had won 2 back-to-back marathon matches. Her body was fatigued, but her spirit was soaring. Her opponent was Viktorija Golubic, not only a former WTA champion, but also a player with a shrewd playing style, specializing in slices and rally disruption that often confused opponents. Stepping onto the court, all eyes were on the young player. Would she succumb to the immense pressure? From the very first games, Golubic dictated the pace. She proactively pushed Eala into long rallies, using the slice to slow the pace and force Eala to guess. Many spectators predicted she would be quickly overwhelmed. But Eala wasn't easily subdued. She countered with powerful forehands, hitting heavy shots into the less used corners, forcing the Swiss player to move more. At one point, Golubic approached the net and tried a low slice shot toward Eala's feet, a tactic intended to shake her rhythm. But Eala proactively returned the ball with high topspin, frustrating Golubic. The first set ended with a score that wasn't too wide. Eala didn't dominate, but she maintained her composure, something many thought was beyond her years. A small win, but it sent a clear signal to Golubic. I didn't come here to be a stepping stone. And as the second set began, Golubic sped up, using her experience to change tactics. The psychological pressure began to mount on Eala, but it was precisely now that Eala had to show her true qualities, not technique, but mental resilience. Second set, a battle of wits and tactical traps. As they entered the second set, the match was no longer just about power serving and fast hitting. Golubic switched to a strategy of pace control and disruption, moving lightly, hitting low slices, serving safely, and pulling Eala into long rallies. With her superior experience, Golubic noticed moments when Eala lacked precision. Her returns weren't heavy enough, and her movements were slightly slow. In the fifth game of the second set, Golubic hit a quick drop shot, forcing Eala to rush the net. Eala reacted quickly, but Golubic's subsequent slice hit low, causing Eala to lose her balance. Golubic took the break and gained a mental advantage. The pace of the match continued to shift. Golubic slowed the game when necessary, sped up when she saw an opening, and didn't let Eala dictate. Most spectators thought the second set would easily go to Golubic. But Eala remained calm. She didn't get angry, didn't hit wildly. She used wide-angled forehands and surprise drop shots to change the rhythm. She tried to mix offense and defense, forcing Golubic to make mistakes. Her shots targeting Golubic's one-handed slice backhand forced the veteran to change her approach. Every small point Eala won was a mental triumph. However, Golubic maintained high consistency. She didn't rush, didn't make major errors. The second set ended in her favor, with a score slightly more dominant than the first. Eala was pushed into the challenger position. There was no turning back. And in the decisive set, everything would be determined. Technique, stamina, and spirit would all have their say. The decisive set, when the wind changes and belief is tested. Entering the third set, the audience clearly felt. This was when the match truly began. Golubic appeared calm, moving steadily, still relying on her slice and rhythm changes. She knew that if she remained patient, Eala would tire after her previous 2 matches that lasted nearly 6 hours. But Eala, after the earlier challenges, proved she was not easily defeated. Golubic took an early break in the first game of the third set. But Eala immediately countered in the next game with an overwhelming forehand. The 2 players entered a chase, fighting for every point. Golubic tried to extend the rallies, attempting to wear down Eala's endurance. But Eala was accustomed to marathon matches. She saved breakpoints, used angled shots and drop shots to break Golubic's structure. When the score reached 5-5, the pressure weighed on both. Golubic had a breakpoint, a chance to end it. But Eala exploited a low slice from her opponent, returned the ball powerfully to the corner, forcing Golubic to error. Eala broke back. Cautiously avoiding mistakes, she held her serve, and then advanced to victory on the decisive point, not with a powerful smash, but with a sharp return that caught Golubic off guard. That moment was more than just a win. It was proof of a steel mentality, of youth overcoming experience. And from here, the name Alexandra Eala is no longer just a phenomenon. She is a genuine threat. The pressure from the stands and the mental challenge. As the match entered the midpoint of the third set, not only was the pressure from Golubic weighing on Eala, but the stands also echoed with cheers mixed with surprise. Names from the Philippines were chanted. Cameras focused on her family and fans back home. All eyes were on the young player. Every missed shot, every slip was scrutinized intensely. The court was no longer just about serving and returning. It was a psychological arena where whoever maintained their composure would gain the advantage. Golubic understood this advantage and repeatedly tried to prolong the points, calling for sudden slowdowns, pushing Eala into long exchanges where her stamina began to work against her. She proactively created mental pressure, a small drop shot, a slice hit across the feet, or simply a deliberate glance that made her opponent out. Eala endured moments of hesitation, her shoulders trembling several times as she looked up at the scoreboard or heard the crowd noise. But she didn't collapse. In games 8 and 9, Eala saved 2 match points, calmly hitting every final ball with extremely precise returns into the deep corners. That shot was like a declaration of war. I am not afraid. Golubic was startled, her rhythm broken. The psychological shift had occurred. The third set became an emotional battlefield, where physical stamina was almost not the only deciding factor. When the match went into a tiebreak, every point was like life and death, and Eala, in a rare moment, proved. If she kept her mind steady, her heart could lead her racket to victory. The historical moment, the perfect shock. The tiebreak between Eala and Golubic became the focus of all commentary. Decisive shots, risky situations, overwhelming safety, and above all, the mental control of the score. By the 7th point of the tiebreak, when Golubic led 6-5, everything seemed settled. But Eala would not accept the result. She hit a powerful return at Golubic's feet, forcing the opponent to hit out. The match continued. When the score reached 8-8, Eala earned the serve. She didn't choose to hit a reckless, powerful shot. She executed a delicate drop shot, then rushed to the net, hitting a decisive volley. The ball hit the net, bounced over, and Eala hugged her racket, her mouth unable to hide a smile. The perfect shock had happened. A seemingly impossible victory against Golubic, completed by a shot few thought she was capable of. The stands erupted. The camera zoomed in on Eala's face, sweat, a tear, a smile mixed with emotion. Golubic bowed her head in astonishment. The match was no longer a technical confrontation. It was a statement by a new generation. The name Alexandra Eala now echoes not just in the Philippines, but on the world tennis map. Post-match and the shadow of the future. The victory over Golubic is not just a step forward in the Suzhou tournament. It opens up a new vista for Eala. Immediately after the match, Asian newspapers ran large banners. The girl who upset Europe. Filipino fans flooded social media with congratulatory messages, and her image was widely shared. But new pressures also appeared. Can she maintain this form in bigger tournaments? Can this young name withstand the high expectations? European media are starting to include Eala's name in Grand Slam predictions. Veteran players view her as a serious opponent, not one to be underestimated. Sports sponsors in the region are starting to eye her. Small contracts, local advertisements, and funding for her tour travels. But Eala chooses wisely. She wants sustainable growth, selects suitable contracts, maintains a clean image, and avoids being pulled into commercialism before achieving more international success. In the training sessions after Suzhou, she still returns to the court very early, practicing cardio, working on her serve technique, and receiving advice from her coach. She is reviewing upcoming tournaments, other WTA 125s, and bigger events. She is setting her goal, not just to conquer Suzhou, but to step onto the Grand Slam courts, onto the big stages with confidence. The victory over Golubic will be the first major mark for Eala, but viewers know the road ahead is long. She might stumble, she might face trickier opponents, but the fearless and dare-to-play spirit has been clearly demonstrated. And if she continues to advance, the name Alexandra Eala will not just be the echo of a single victory, but a symbol of the belief that in tennis, youth and ambition can turn the tables. When the media catches the shock, immediately after the final whistle, the shock of Eala's victory over Golubic quickly spread across newspapers, social media, and television programs. The image of her lying on the court, her radiant smile, her red eyes, those moments were shared not only in the Philippines, but across international tennis sites. Articles like "Underdog Takes Down Former Champion" appeared in Australian, American, and Hong Kong magazines. Like a rising tide, Eala went from a little-known name to a subject of commentary, comparison, and prediction. Sports experts began to dissect the tactics she used, why she chose to hit powerful forehands with height, why she knew how to break Golubic's rhythm with a drop shot, and when she forced her opponent to advance. On televised commentary, analysts called Eala the one who woke up Europe, the new cloud of Asian tennis. Highlight videos went viral quickly. The decisive return, the match point save, the determined rush to the net. Each clip garnered millions of views, thousands of comments from fans, both domestic and international. But at the same time, the huge attention also brought great pressure. People began asking, is this just a temporary shock, or will Eala continue on the difficult path ahead? Can she maintain her form in longer tournaments? And will the aftertaste of this victory make opponents rate her higher, making her a psychologically trickier opponent? The fan community began calling for the Philippine Federation to host international tennis tournaments to create a home court for her. Small sponsors sent proposals, and journalists scheduled in-depth interviews. And Eala, who was a hidden figure just days ago, now steps into the bright lights of major media. She knows that today's victory opens a new phase. And in the next video, we will analyze whether this shock can be sustained or if it's just a fleeting flash. Psychological aftermath between glory and new pressure. A hard-fought victory against Golubic does not mean Eala's burden has lightened. Backstage, she was immediately met with long interview requests, surrounded by cameras and lights shining in her eyes. She walked out to the press room, sweat still on her forehead, but had to maintain a composed expression. Many reporters asked about her stamina, her chances of reaching the semifinals, and comparisons to veteran players. Every question was pressure. If she answered incorrectly, she would be scrutinized. That night when she returned to the hotel, Eala reviewed the scoreboard and the match video. She didn't sleep well. Her mind was filled with missed shots, slices where she missed the chance to attack. She opened her laptop, rewatching every shot, noting small mistakes. The lesson from this victory is that the post-battle phase has just begun. Not only must she continue to compete, but she must fight herself, societal pressure, and expectations. Meanwhile, Golubic, the loser, was also complimentary. She praised Eala in an interview. She played very strong, very brave. Traditional opponents on the tour began to change their perspective. Eala is no longer an easily defeated opponent, but someone to be wary of. She will be studied more closely, subjected to high-pressure tactics from the start, and opponents will exploit her mistakes. And this is the crucial step. If Eala can handle the immense pressure without breaking, she will be considered a player with resilience, not just in one match, but across many tournaments. She begins to enter a new combat zone, where winning and losing are no longer the only factors, but how she manages the pressure will determine whether she can stand firm.